My mama used to tell me all my life, what goes around comes around. All of this shit that went around is on its way back around, and it comes through a Pluto return. That's some heavy shit, right? So we got the 2/22/2022 portal. We got the Pluto return on George Washington's birthday. George Washington issued a challenge to the Moors and the indigenous because they thought we was the same, but we ain't. And when they found out now that we ain't the same and that I can tell the difference between us and them wherever they meet. And when they send they motherfucking, because Elijah said the last trick the devil gonna do is to just freely offer you his woman. But he ain't never tell you his woman was gonna smell like a half a cow. Right? Because our women believe in yoni care. Like, that's like a big thing because the yoni is the portal of life, and the portal of life is a sacred place. And the desecration of the sacred place comes in the form of mastectomies and hysterectomies. So if we understood that, by watching how our people move, watch how they move, we reverence the womb and they despise it. That doesn't make sense. How do you despise the womb when you come from one? But they don't have that respect for the womb. They got a greater respect for the phallus. You can't grow in the phallus for 9 months. It's just not going to happen. Right? So we can push this patriarchal bullshit agenda, or we can go back to us. I vote for go back to us. So I'll tell y'all the secret. The secret is, them niggas that don't want to be black don't have to be black. You know, because all of us wasn't intended to be in the war. All of us wasn't part of the war. You got to remember, everybody didn't sign treaties with these motherfuckers. Some of us ain't never stopped fighting. That's why they got blowed up shit all over this bitch, flooded out cities all over this bitch, castles that's abandoned all over this bitch, because all the motherfuckers that lived in the castles went to fighting Seminole Wars. All the motherfuckers lived in the castle went to fighting Seminole Wars. Ain't nobody staying in Big Mama house if Big Mama ain't safe to come home. That's just the way it is. We ain't letting nobody stay in there, and y'all ain't either. Right? So some of them, they turned into prisons. Right? Them the ones that they didn't know what to do with. They turned them into prisons. Stinking ass motherfuckers. But I'm making shit up. When you can go look at this shit. You can go look in the Smithsonian, and they got all of the artifacts to tell you that we was over here the whole time. Right? That this has always been the great melding pot. That's not a Eurocentric terminology applied to the land. That's their understanding of the land before they ever came here. Right? Then also, this motherfucker over here didn't believe in, if you had a voice, unless you proved yourself to be a liar, your voice had legitimacy until we can analyze what you saying. We didn't just take your word for it, but we didn't discount what you said. We went and used it as a foundational tool to do a research to determine if we need to pay attention to what the fuck you saying. Because you might be telling us exactly how to get out of the problem, but we so used to now listening to the other man that we don't give a fuck what's going on with the brother man. Right? So, in academia, they was calling us Negroes, the coloreds, the African Americans, and all that shit. But in the hood, we was greeting each other. What's happening, brother? What's going on, blood? Wait a minute. Brothers. That's what Stone's vice lords call each other. Blood. That's what them bloods in LA call each other. Wait a minute. We've been knowing who we was the whole time and been calling ourselves who we were without even knowing we was identifying ourselves to one another in the presence of everybody, and they made fun of us and called it blaxploitation. Pay attention to the exaggeration, because the exaggeration is the thing that says pay attention. And if you pay attention to the exaggeration, you'll find a whole revelation of a nation that's been percolating under the bottom the whole time. talking in ghetto code. Did it eat? Did it eat? Did it eat? Did it eat that? As motherfucking Gil Scott would say. Right? So the parents got a language. The children got a language. They don't always speak the same language, but the children normally know what the parents is talking about. Right?
Patriarchal.
Everywhere where the women had power, they put me in there.
And
That was
I know you
that's
go
what.
over this question a lot. You answer this a lot. Why is the music industry how it is today? But if you want to drop
But
it for you can.
go ahead with the rest of it. It's drugs. What?
Oh, drugs, killing, etc. Oh, it ain't showing you the whole questions?
Mm-mm. So the music industry is how it is today because it was created by the same people that was overthrowing our system, that was occupying our land. When you go back, it's a movie on YouTube about the origins of Hollywood. You'll see the double head Scottish Rite flag being marched down Hollywood streets when it was a dirt road.
Word.
Because they the ones who created Hollywood. Hollywood is a mass mind control mechanism.
For sure. The holly tree is like that's what they use for wands. So they just
Magic
cast the
wand.
spells. They casting spells all day.
That big old castle that used to be Disney, that was what we called the big house. That shit wasn't built in no 1900s. Nobody used that construction style in the 1900s.
It's like
That's what we call it in modern times, old Gothic construction. They don't use that. They haven't used that construction style at least since the 1000 AD mark. So the castle of Disneyland had to be there at the soonest it could have been built is around the year 1000 AD. So it's at least 1,000 years old. We all left the big house to come fight the Seminole Wars. That's why it was empty when they got there.
Wow.
Most of us don't know. I did a whole video showing the castles on the land. Most of them they turned into prisons.
Because they already had the walls.
Yeah. They put the bars up later.
Wow.
They put the bar. They used to be living quarters. Right. And
the live will be saved. The live will be saved.
So it goes back to they burned our cities, they flooded cities out, they sunk cities under lakes. All that's just to keep us from knowing who the fuck we is and asserting our rights to the land and nullifying the unum sanctum decree.
Penitentiary. Yeah, that etymology, breaking down words is crazy. Once I got tapped into that, you stop calling yourself smart. Stop calling, you know what I'm saying? It's like they really flipping everything. They really flipping everything. Got us out here casting spells on ourselves. This one just says they discontinued the show because they found the information on Bobby Hemmett speaking on Lovecraft.
That's totally possible because Lovecraft and American Gods got a lot of information in it. And Bobby Hemmett wasn't no slouch. He was putting all of the pieces together. When he got a clip.
And with American Gods, you saw they kicked Buddy off. Orlando, they kicked him off.
Oh yeah,
started dropping too
that's
much.
because of the character that he played. That's the worst motherfucker. That's the nigga that's gonna be telling y'all how to get y'all shit back. They didn't want that character portrayed from that level of self-control, clear, cognizant thought, and deliver such a potent message in media. It's a movie with Cicely Tyson and I think Robin Givens. Robin Givens tell her that she just don't want to be black, so she try to claim she Indian.
I know which movie you're talking about.
She ad-libbed her response.
She ad-libbed it?
Yep. That was
Cicely got bigger
spontaneous.
now
That
when
wasn't
she
in
said
the, that wasn't in the original script. She stood up and she said, "Look at me. My father was full-blooded Iroquois."
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then she went to give another family's message. She also ad-libbed the tail end of that family reunion movie done by Tyler Perry.
Mm.
You got to listen to it. That's a bad
Yeah, I
motherfucker.
gotta go back and watch it. I gotta go. Yeah, yeah. And the crazy thing is, too, she looks just like, my mom looks just like Cicely Tyson.
Cicely Tyson was a Iroquois high priestess.
Mm. Now, we're at Iroquois. That's like Northeast, right?
Well, it's hard to say now because everybody went to fight in the Seminole Wars.
Mm.
So we all got mixed up. That's why they called us Seminoles, because all of the tribes was mixed down there. You got motherfuckers from the Tonga Islands, from the Polynesian Islands, from Venezuela, from Brazil, all the way from Canada, from Alaska, the Inuits, all sending people to fight the Seminole Wars.
Mm.
We had so much concentrated force in Florida. When they did the Louisiana Purchase, Lewis and Clark Expedition declared the land as being abandoned. That's what made them institute squatters' rights under the Protectorate Agreement in order to occupy the land until the rightful heirs reclaimed it. That's what they did. That's what all that whole. That's what the whole story is about, Lois and Clark.
Damn.
Which is also the story of Superman and Lois, because his name is Clark Kent.
Lois Lane.
Lois and Clark.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now look, Lois is the lane. That's the road, the path. Clark is the Kent. Kent is the bank. Right? The bank name is actually Old Kent Bank.
Mm.
But he ain't the rightful heir because he's not one of the Earthborn. Go back and review the story again. It got a different meaning.
That's wild.
I love me some Chief Warhorse. That
I was
sister
about to say Chief Warhorse is that guy.
Yeah, her. She ain't for no games.
Oh, you know who I'm thinking about? Nothing. Go ahead. I know you're talking about though.
Yeah, she got the
details in.
Right, because she started telling you about her.
I'm gonna go ahead and wash these hands real quick. Right, somebody. Now I'm gonna be thinking about that shit all night. Cause the other day, my bad, maybe you can't hear. Because the other day, I got another sign from Spirit. Like Hawks is one of my totems, and I see him everywhere I go. And the other day, I'm driving down the road, and a hawk swooped in front of the car with a rabbit. He didn't caught a rabbit, and he like Rob. When I tell you I had to brake because I was about to hit the hawk and the rabbit, like dead ass, I had to brake. And I'm like, okay, that's God telling me it's time to strike. It's time to do what I'm supposed to be doing. But man, these little messages be coming now. As soon as you tap in, it's like they come nonstop.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing: everything is a message, but we don't read everything as a message.
That's real. Ain't no coincidences. I see it in everything now to the point where I be feeling like paranoid. I be like, come on now, you can't think of everything. Got to be symbolism.
Well, stop telling yourself that, because that's where the paranoia comes from. If you go back to Elijah Muhammad said there's been thousands and thousands and thousands of signs. This shit is about to be a wrap. Elijah Muhammad said that back in the 60s. Right? So how many more signs has been given to us since then? So it's a lot of signs that we haven't been reading. We just been letting them go past, trying to fit into the society that was designed to oppress us.
Yep, put a cage on my mind, basically. Because once I remove that prison of a thought process, then I'm able to really tap in and allow that to become a part of my intuition. But sometimes, like I said, because I'm like, damn, that can't be a sign. Because like literally, it's like all day numbers. On top of that, it's like numbers to the point where I don't even look up the meaning of numbers anymore because I know them all by heart.
Mm-hmm. So that's when you start using numerology and gematria in real time, and that even fines tune the message. So the message becomes easier to assimilate when you understand what numbers mean. Because this is why you wear a watch. This is why you're supposed to wear a watch. We got cameras on our phone. Clocks on our phone now, because the every second of the day is a new set of numbers. Think about that. Every second of the day is a new set of numbers. And those same numbers several times a day are anagrams of one another. Those are what you call connection points. Right? So 24 hours in a day, but 12 months in a year. Right? So they say one day to the year. That means it took a whole year for it to happen. So in 12 and 24 is 36, and 3 and 6 is 9, and that's the turnaround.
Right. And 12 is 3. 24 is 6. And you add them together, then you get 9.
Yep. It got to be able to work frontwards and backwards in order for it to fit into an accurate read. Right? So the 369 is a code. It's a universal code for turning something around, or when you get to what we call 3-point convergence, that's GPS. So you need 3 points of convergence in order to get past the 2-point coincidence factor. Anything more than 2 is no longer coincidence. That means that, pay attention, this is a real sign. Right? That's how GPS need 3 points of convergence to get you to your location.
What do they call it?
Triangulation.
There it is.
So that's why when you see, like when I watch a tarot card reader, I can read more into the cards than she reading, because I'm starting with how long did it take her to do this read? What do those numbers mean? Okay. Now, what's the title of the spread? Right? Because that's the theme. That's the mission statement. Right? So the mission, under the mission statements, is the details of the mission. Right? We call it the question and answer, or the query and the response. The universe is telling us something. We use an oracle means to focus the energy in, like lights going through a magnifying glass, until we can explain clearly what it is that we see. The more things that we know the meaning of, the more accurate we can get an oracle read. That's what this question right here, the answer to that is, that was before the
I can't talk to you how I can talk to them, and then let the people who are close to you relay it to you. You got a problem with me, so let me call a man. Since you don't respect me enough to talk to me like a woman, I'm gonna call a man and you talk to him like that. I bet you won't. He got an attitude. He stormed off. It was crazy. But I see what you said about all skin
Did he
folks.
snap his fingers? Did he snap his fingers in the zigzag motion?
He was doing this. He was doing this. No, this. But I'm like, are you clapping at me? I'm like, yeah, no, what you got to do is stop talking to me like you crazy, boy. I was like, I'm going to call a guy and you can talk to him. He's like, no, I'm going to call my sisters. I'm like, okay, you go and do that. All skin folks, not kin folk, and they showing their colors. If you listen close, even the women that aren't on your side, they show
gonna tell you.
immediately.
They gonna tell you.
It's not a compliment to tell anybody that, oh, I'm jealous of that. Like, that's not a compliment. You speak.
Soon as I hear the word jealous, it's a red flag to me. Dirty motherfuckers is on their way.
Pretty much.
Look,
that's my question. The Pope in China, why is he in jail? Did you hear that? The Pope? Yeah, one of the popes, one of the priests, like one of their grand priests is in jail. Probably
for being a fag. Probably touching on little boys. I don't know. I didn't see nothing about it. But 9 out of 10, if they true to form, he probably was touching on one of them little Japanese boys over there, and to keep the Yakuza and the samurai from beheading his motherfucking ass, they decided to lock his punk ass up, dress wearing son of a bitch.
I cannot. Okay, next question is, I am going about my tribe. Now, am I doing this because I'm trying to elect a leader? I don't feel like I have learned my craft enough to lead. So how many people should be in my matriarch to begin with? I don't want it to be too many. Right now, I have 4, and I feel like that's not a good number. I want it either 3, 6, or 9. What's a good number?
You already said you don't need me to answer it. You just got to accept the answer for yourself that you gave yourself, which is going to make you be more powerful than if I give you a number. Okay. Look, Big Mama be talking to y'all, and y'all be second guessing her. I don't second guess her. I know when she's talking to me. So look, listen to your heart. When you feel something, trust what you feel to guide you correctly. And the one thing about it, you are not allowed to lie to yourself for one reason. You don't know you fucking lying. So when you tell yourself you need the right answer, you got to give yourself the right answer, and you got to give yourself the time to let your higher self put the pieces together, and then you'll be going about your day, and then an answer occur to you with the reason. Okay. Right? So your power is the palm chakras. That's why they have you hold hands in church. Okay. Because the palm chakras, but you're not holding hands properly in the church in order to get the maximum effect of the chakra alignment. Because the fingers are supposed to be interlocked like this and not the hands closed together like this. And the reason you interlock in the fingers is you have meridians at each fingertip. And then on the back of the hand, there's meridians that correspond to that. And then you got a chakra in your palm. Yeah. Right? So, like if you put your 2 hands together and lock them together, like that. When you hold hands with the sisters, hands up like that. Okay. Just like that. That's the proper technique. Now, you see where your fingertips is touching the back of your hand? Yes. Those are meridian to meridian connections. Nice. Okay, now, in the palm of your hands is a chakra, which is an open channel. Okay. And so I can feel it. Right. So when you and then you put your palms together in that position, and now y'all can move energy. If only one of y'all have to know how to move the energy. That would be me. Right. And whatever y'all put on y'all intentions, whatever it do, don't let it be nothing malicious. Because I get it back threefold, right? That shit coming so hard and fast, just wish for some good shit for somebody. Okay. Right? Now, intensify that by 10 by putting your feet on the grass in the soil. I can make the sun come out, Rod. I've been practicing my butt off ever since. Yeah, all you gotta do is fucking smile. You light the whole goddamn place up. You don't need no sun. Make the sun come out. Like, and another thing, because of all the electrical storms, I've been trying to tell a lot of people, because somebody somewhere is like, oh, alkali water, drink a lot of alkali water. You don't need to be a battery right now.
it's all spring water right now until the electrical storm stop. Because if you notice, if you are like vibrating high, it's burning you out. You're tired. You feel like you've ran a mile. It's the alkali water. Stop drinking it. Pause for a second. Spring water.
Or distilled.
Yeah, distilled.
But
I can't find
so
distilled water. Which one is better?
it's not. It don't work like that. You got different types of water. You got more different types of water than they want to tell you, and they all do something different.
Okay, now I was watching something where they were like, "Oh, water and oil don't mix, but it's a certain water that's like so
pH 11.
pH 11, pH. Why I ain't had no pen and paper sitting here with you, and I know better, and I left it. pH 11, and then
I'm saving the lives. You can always come back to it.
And then there's another. How come I can't find anything on the gold that our bodies produce called penoline?
Because they don't want you to know it, because most of it is in cerebral spinal fluid. But they don't call it that when they talk about it. They call it colloidal gold or diatomic gold.
Colloidal gold, diatomic gold. Okay. Next, I know I got like a million questions because I'm always trying to request you to get on live. And I'm like, yeah, you don't never. And I got like a million questions for him. All right. Now, Age of Aquarius. Everybody keeps trying to say that it didn't start yet.
It started in 2012 on the Mayan calendar. The Mayan calendar never was changed from the closing of the age. So when you read Edgar Casey, he tell you that around the year, between the years 2012 to 2019, a great teacher was going to come on the scene and begin to teach the world. Also, you can find the same prophecy of Nostradamus, right? So they know that the closing of the age is coming.
Okay.
Then you had the lady Blind Baba from whatever the fuck her name is from Russia, who gave the same prophecy. The eyes of three oracles having the same prophecy over a 2,000-year period is so far to impossible, and all three of them converge in and under a 200-year period or 500-year period. That's right?
Wild.
Right. So now a lot of the skeptics, just Bible thumpers, say that the only reason they all can agree on that prophecy is because it's biblical prophecy and Revelations. Right.
Question.
But yeah.
When you're done, another question. Now, King James's first book was a book on demons. I heard like they had.
It was called the Book of Demonology.
Yes. Now, he was called.
Demons are not what they told you they was. You was lied to about what a demon is.
He went back and sold out like the true like Moorish people for a seat at the throne, and that's how he got the name King James, right? Didn't he sell like all of like the secrets and flip it upside down to put it in the Bible?
No, it was already there. Constantine in 325 AD had a group of priests assemble the Bible. All King James did was commission the scholars of the day to render it from Latin because it had became a Septuagint Vulgate Bible. And they translated it from the Latin to the English, right? And then over the years, they translate directly from the Greek in the New Testament to English and from the Hebrew in the Old Testament in Egypt. In the Old Testament as they begin to revise it. So as they revised it, they didn't refer back to the Latin. They referred back to the Hebrew and the Greek.
Okay. So was the Latin one was more true to self?
No, the Latin one was the one that King James had translated. It was originally in Hebrew and Greek text because the Nicene Council was so-called Hebrews and Greeks. Okay. But they was melanated like me and you.
All skin folk and kin folks. Okay, got that. Now, next question. Manly P. Hall. His book on the secret teachings of all times.
Secret teachings of all ages.
Yes. That book, I find that book is like a really good reference point to other books. I felt like he kept it like totally 100 in the book. Is there another book that would be comparable to that book?
Madame Blavatsky's work, the Theosophy Isis Unveiled is one, and the Secret Doctrine is the other. And then you also got Rudolf Steiner's Anthroposophy that goes into a lot, give you a lot of reference works with it. Madame Blavatsky got reference volumes that separate from the book. That's a whole book.
Okay, so I'm gonna get that. That should be my first one as a matriarch to get that book. So I can start.
No, you should study. You should be looking at tribal structures, right? And you should be looking at okay. So the modern corporate structure, a corporation, all of the board members is the structure to set up the tribe.
Okay.
You assess the skill set of the people involved, and then you know what to make them a minister of.
That's what I'm trying to do right now. That's I'm like, what craft do you have? What do you bring to the foreground? Now,
A lot of people don't know.
My 3 questions. Now, in your Emerald tablets, I kind of broke it down to there's one part like you have to ask people 3 questions. It's like being a gatekeeper. Who are you? What do you want and where are you going? And depending on how they answer those questions will determine like their place in the tribe or if they should even be. Like, is there a better way?
Those are questions. Those are questions. You know what you just talked about, demonology?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you an explanation about something. Let me get a drink.
Okay. Me too.
Okay. Let's say that your father was reading a book on demonology and applied the information to become successful, right?
Mm-hmm.
It worked because all the demon is a thought form, an egregore that was created a long time ago by priests to teach us how to access higher consciousness. And each one of the demons, you have to put them back on the shelf when you're done with them. If you don't, they come out in the next generation that's not using them. They get angry. You're not using it. And this is why you have to clean up the family tree. You have to be able to ask those 3 questions to the demon in order to put them in check.
But it's happening with people because I asked those 3 questions to people.
The same thing because
what you mean
the energy, right. So the same energy that goes into creating a personality by opening up demons of the mind, which is opening up apps basically for the human psyche, that was written a long time ago by people that understood the mind on a level that very few of us do it in this era.
Okay.
Right. So those are what you call watcher questions. Right. Women can diffuse a lot of hostile situations with those 3 questions.
They changed my life.
Yeah, you because even in the middle of guy might be coming to rape you, and when you ask him them 3 questions, he gets so fucking confused because you called him on his bullshit before it happened. So his psyche is telling him this is the wrong one to fuck with.
Very true. So in my library that I'm building for the from my yard, Rudolf Steiner's book, I need Madame Blavatsky's book, Isis Unveiled, and I need books on tribal structure. And I need to
now I'm gonna tell you a book that's going to fast track the setup of a tribe, but it's the book that's a manual for setting up a coven.
Okay.
Now, the name of the book is called A Magic Circle, and the name of the author is Yaj Nomalos.
Okay. Spell that.
Nomalos and Solomon spelled backwards. That's how you're going to know you got the right book.
Got it.
Now, remember this for all sisterhoods. The witches' books for setting up ceremonies. That's y'all shit. That's why they was murdering witches and setting them on fire, because these were the wise matriarchs that actually was able to use the powers of nature to keep them off the land. So whenever they found that they was teaching, that's when they struck the women. And they always used the woman to infiltrate them. And that's why they were doing rituals in secret.
I'm a generational scribe. Generational scribe. My family, Wausau tribe, the Mound Builders. So a lot of my aunts, and a lot of my family. I'm in Jersey, and we go to Salem a lot and everything. And when I was in Salem, like something wild happened to me.
I was talking to the sister last night on the live, and She was in New Jersey, and we was talking. I was telling her that's the side of Shakur land over there. Anybody that get out of line when she send them goons at her, don't call me because I'm not sending no help.
I know.
Because she only gonna fuck the moms up that's fucking with the babies. That's her number one thing. Because we can't come back to this shit. So the only way to not come back to it is to clean it up now.
Yeah.
Our children shouldn't have to fight this fight. This shit should be well cleaned up. My son, 8 years old, by the time he 18, he should be worried about how to spend all this goddamn money we done made.
Very true. No,
That should be the biggest worry he have in his life.
next question. The FBI just hired all of those black men.
Listen.
By the hundreds and thousands. What's going on?
So they are trying to matriculate them through different forms of the old government to FEMA. FEMA is short for female. The female is going to be the ones that's running FEMA. Mm-hmm. And they got a group of matriarch sisters from all communities across the land with experience in varying different fields, where this one might be in charge of animal rescue, right? This one might be in charge of disaster relief. This one might be in charge of reorganizing to feed the children.
Okay.
Right. You might have a sister that's a veteran. She's going to be part of the team that's working with the Wounded Warrior Project. Okay. Because they was doing so effectively well with the recovering soldiers that was coming home. They was doing better than the VA. All of the veteran affairs is going to be shifted over to that organization, and they're going to be heavily funded. Okay. Right? Because they understand, because it's ran by veterans that understand the struggle of the veterans. They understand. This is eventually going to phase out because we ain't going to be doing this war shit.
Thanks.
Right? But for right now, we have warriors that suffer and fought in these wars, and now we're going to be using them boots on the ground to help in the community to reorganize as we redistribute the wealth. Okay. So they bring these new recruits into all of these government agencies. All of these agencies are now defunct, been defunct for 3 years. Right? But they still using the template for a training tool to maximize the use of the experience of the aged ones who are leaving. Okay. Right? So you take what you need from the old system so you can transition into the new system, and you learn from the best people in the field with the best intentions to do the best job to give the people that American dream they lied to us about before they dropped this goddamn Plymouth Rock shit on our ass.
Now, another question. Is Trump with us or against us? Because he stole all the federal sealed documents and not giving them back.
Look, he ain't stole nothing. First of all, who loaded up his truck with the documents? Do you know? Mm-mm. The same motherfuckers who told the Department of Justice that the documents was missing. They was also in communication with Trump the whole time. And he was like, yeah, sure, come on, get whatever you need. But they weren't looking for that. That was a smoke screen. Right? Because now they agitating him to the point where all of the fraud shit that they trying to keep undercover, he gonna drop the bomb and expose all that shit.
He's so petty. I can see him doing that shit too. Like, oh, get you on, like, oh, everything with a seal on it. Put it in the car. Come on.
He been telling us, look, in his speeches, ever since January, he been saying the same goddamn thing. They didn't win the election. He keeps saying it. They didn't win the election.
I knew.
We caught him in voter fraud.
It was around the Capitol. Old boy had the black pawn on his body. They captured the flag. He had the Buffalo Soldier horns on. He freaking howled through the hall.
I did a report on it as soon as it happened.
Where is it?
On my Facebook page.
I'm like, would you look at this? I'm like,
And I did a video on my Rod Hayes page about a couple of weeks before they took it down. That I was explaining to people occupying Pelosi's desk. And I showed him where he put in the public domain that he was sent by us.
Black Pawn.
Right? And he told them that he was part of the QAnons. And he told them that he was in special forces in the United States Marines on special assignment. And then he went in there and kicked his feet up and planted the Old Glory, the flag of the land, behind the Admiralty flag to recover the jurisdiction.
Yes. I was like,
So that shifted us from Admiralty and maritime jurisdiction and put us back under the law of the land, which is the tribal laws that we had that predate the Constitution. But the Constitution has always been in effect ever since we've been here, because part of the chief becoming a chief, he used to have to remember each part of it, and not until it was totally memorized could he attain the office to be a lawgiver in the community, because the Constitution had to be known by heart, because it got to be in your heart.
okay, with that, what's the significance of Trump pleading the fifth 44 times?
That was a message directly to Malik Angel Bay that he see you and he coming to get you.
I figured that. Nice.
The fifth is the 5-point star, Peace Stone Nation. 44 is Chief Malik Angel Bay angel number.
Nice. I figured that. Now,
So he was letting him know that when I say free Larry Hoover, I mean free motherfucking Chief Malik Angel Bay. Period. I don't just mean because my chief, he ain't the only one of the chiefs. And Mama said ain't no big eyes and no little U's. Big Mama said don't leave no stone unturned. So everywhere I see a chief in crisis, I'm going to fucking say something.
okay.
And when I say something about one, it applies to all of them, whether they the male chiefs or the female chiefs. And we got more female chiefs than we got male chiefs.
Very true.
That's how we end up having a matriarchal society. I got 26 seconds.
Brittany Garner. What's the significance of her and why are they holding her? Who are they trying to exchange her for? They won't tell us what to exchange for. Like, who are they trying to exchange her for and why? They tricked her into going over there. I think that was a whole setup. And anyway, really? You're going to hold her and she's playing?
Hey, Robert. Hold on, let me let I gotta switch to this laptop.
We live.
Got you. I'm in here, Elder.
Oh yeah, we live right now. Hey, I'm gonna pull that folder up, man. Hey, if you're in the building, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, man. About to get it cracking with the legendary brother Rod Hayes, man, in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, hold on, let me get this chat pulled up and we taking off, man. Non-stop action.
I'm trying to find it on YouTube on my other device.
Yeah, just you probably have to reload it because not reload the but just reload YouTube because it just popped up just now, probably.
Yep. I just want to be able to see the live chat.
Better get it cracking, bro. I got the live chat pulled up. Let me share this. Oh yeah, I got the thumbnail already put up on there. So hey, if you're in the building, we give them time to come in because I just made the announcement just like 30 minutes ago. So they loading in here now. It's going up now.
Mm-hmm.
So we give them a couple minutes. So just hit your shit, get right, set up. We're gonna get in.
So for the ones that's coming in earlier today, we're going to be going over some of the history and show y'all how they be hiding shit in plain sight when they be telling the story. Right. So a lot of people elder than heard me say a lot of times that we left the land to go fight the Gullah Wars or the Seminole Wars, depending on who's telling the story, the victor or the defeated, or us versus them. The person telling the story determined what the name of the wars was called. So when the Spaniards is telling it, or those sympathetic to the Spanish cause, conquistadors, they call it the Seminole Wars. But the key reason they call it the Seminole Wars is what we need to be trying to figure out. Because we need to find out what the word Seminole means. Right? And the root word is semi.
Oh yeah, that's fire. Go ahead.
Semi means part or half or almost.
Okay.
It's a portion of something. The Spaniards claim they called us Seminoles because we were an admixture of tribes. We weren't an original tribe. We was tribes, conglomerate of tribes. Now, they was telling the world in the Seminole Wars, the black Seminoles was runaway slaves that ran away to Florida. Now, before we go any further with that concept, anybody ever heard